Then, Ludwig van Beethoven was a German pianist and composer, widely considered the greatest of all time, whose innovative compositions combine vocals and instruments, widening the scope of sonata, symphony, concerto, and quartet. He's a crucial traditional figure connecting the classical and romantic ages of Western music. He is the composer behind For Elisa, Moonlight Sonata, Fantasia behind C minor, Symphony Number 5, 9, Turkey March, the legendary masterpieces that we all have been loved for hundreds of years. Many regard that he was only behind Mozart and Bach, the greatest composers ever. Not surprisingly, he is one of the history's most famous musicians ever. But today, we are not talking about his achievements. It's about his strengths. Beethoven was born into a traditional music family. Beethoven's grandfather, godfather, and namesake, Kapellmeister Ludwig van Beethoven, was born most prosperous and eminent musician, a source of endless pride for the young Ludwig. However, his father, Johann van Beethoven, was a mediocre court singer better known for his alcoholism than any of his musical ability. Beethoven's mother, Maria Magdalena van Beethoven, was a slender, genteel, and deeply moralistic woman. As a child, Beethoven was frequently beaten up by his alcoholic father, who wanted him to become a child prodigy like Mozart. His training started young, at the age of 5, and any lack of attention or excellence invited a serious beating. So little was young Beethoven then that he had to stand on a stool in order to reach the piano. When his father appointed a tutor, his friend Tobias Friedrich Pfeiffer, to teach Beethoven, there was not much relief for the young Beethoven. Um, there was, even though his new tutor has a significant role in shaping up Beethoven's music foundation, Tobias was an eccentric musician himself. Being an insomniac, he prefers the middle of the night to tutor young Beethoven and would wake him up at ungodly hours for lessons. On a near daily basis, Beethoven was locked in the cellar and deprived of sleep for extra hours of practice. He studied the violin and clavier with his father, as well as taking additional lessons from organists around town. Whether in spite of or because of his father's draconian methods, Beethoven was a prodigiously talented musician from his earliest day and displayed flashes of creative imagination that could eventually reach farther than any composer before or since. Beethoven, who struggled with sums and spelling his entire life, was at best an average student, and some biographers have hypothesized that he may have mined dyslexia. But as he put it himself, music comes to me more readily than words. In 1781, at the age of 10, Beethoven withdrew from school to study music full-time with Christian Gottlob Nefer. The newly appointed court organist Nefer introduced Beethoven to Johann Sebastian Bach, and at the age of 12, Beethoven published his first composition, a set of piano variations on a theme by an obscure classical composer named Dressler. By 1784, his alcoholism worsening and his voice decaying, Beethoven's father was no longer able to support his family, and Ludwig van Beethoven formally requested an official appointment as assistant court organist. Despite his youth, his request was accepted, and Beethoven was put on the court payroll with a modest annual salary of 150 florins. At the same time as Beethoven was composing some of his immortal works, he was struggling to come to terms with a shocking and terrible fact, one that he tried desperately to conceal. He was going deaf. By the turn of the 19th century, Beethoven struggled to make out the words spoken to him in conversation. Beethoven revealed in a heart-wrenching letter to his friend Franz Wegeler, "I must confess that I lead a miserable life. For almost 2 years I have ceased to attend any social functions just because I find it impossible to talk to people. I'm deaf. If I had any other profession, I might be able to cope with my infirmity, but in my profession it is a terrible handicap." At times driven to extremes and melancholy by his affliction, Beethoven described his despair in a long and poignant note that he concealed his entire life. "Oh, you men who you think or say that I'm malevolent, stubborn, or misanthropic, how greatly do you wrong me! Do you know that the secret cause which makes me seem that way to you, and I would have ended my life? It was only my art that held me back. Ah, it seemed impossible to leave the world until I had brought forth all what I felt was good in me." Almost miraculously, despite his rapidly progressing deafness, Beethoven continued to compose at a furious pace. From 1803 to 1812, what is known as his Middle or heroic period, he composed an opera, 6 symphonies, 4 solo concerto, 5 string quartet, 6 string sonata, 7 piano sonata, 5 set piano variations, 4 overture for cello, 2 sectors, and 72 songs. The most famous among these was Symphony from No. 3 to 8, the Moonlight Sonata, the Kreutzer Violin Sonata, and Fidelino. His only opera. In terms of the astonishing output of superlatively complex, original, and beautiful music, this period in Beethoven's life is unrivaled by any of the other composers in history. Symphony No. 9, which is considered to be one of his greatest symphonies ever recorded, was also written at this time. So what is that that makes him so admirable globally? Of course, his masterpieces are everywhere, but this is passion for music and the will to fight for it is what actually makes his name. He lost his auditory ability and suffered from great chronic hepatitis, jaundice, colitis, various skin disease, rheumatic fever, and liver problems. Painful and tiring as they all were, they couldn't overwhelm him. He faced them with great strength and a tremendous love for music. He's definitely a great example for us to follow, and uh, and even in present day, we still witness such hero. Marty Harvey, she entered American Got Talent singing and playing guitar with deaf ears. Her taking off her shoes to feel the air vibration had really touched everyone. So was Simon Cornwell when he decided to give her a golden bus. From Ludwig van Beethoven, I learned an unbeatable dedication to music, a positive attitude toward hardships, and a resilient willpower to make the most of his last day. I believe that this strength will be here to stay, and Beethoven himself will teach the later generations a lot of lessons. Thank you very much for listening.